And meantime, this might be the end of comedy as we know it. Former late-night king Jay Leno is done with political jokes.
I just stopped doing politics and my act altogether because, you know, when I did the Tonight Show, the idea was you made fun of both sides equally, and you get those, Miss Leno, you and your Republican friends, well, Miss Leno, you and your Democratic buddies, you know, and they'd both be angry. And I go, oh, that's good. You know, they both think you're supporting the other guy. Now you've got to take a side, and people are angry if you don't. And I find what I would start to tell a political joke. Well, they want to know the punchline before, is this pro or against it? You know, so I just stopped doing it because I just want people to come and laugh and have a good time. That's the idea of doing a comedy show to me.
But Jimmy Fallon says that's no laughing matter.
Censorship and outrage culture got a foothold in comedy because a lot of big name comics were like, I don't want the trouble. I won't do the political jokes. I won't do the college gig because there's going to be blowback. I'll just walk away from it. But that lane of growth is now eliminated for the young guy, and that lane of speech is actually now controlled and steered by the people who might push back against the comedian. Comedy doesn't have a political party. Comedy is a party.
And that's why Jimmy Fallon does so well, obviously, with his brand new show on Saturday nights. But, Joe, I want to ask you, because I know that you follow late-night television, the media, and you mentioned it last night on the show. Joe Biden is target-rich for comedy, and these late-night hosts should be playing his brewery speeches and maybe even his visit to the barbershop yesterday. They should be playing that on a loop because, while it's sad, it's also comedy. But they choose not to. They only choose to poke fun at Donald Trump. Do you think that this is going to be, if we do have a Donald Trump reelected as our next president, do you think that they're going to take shots at Donald Trump? Or maybe are they going to spice things up and go after somebody else for a change?
The trick to comedy is to be unpredictable. And everybody from Stephen Colbert to Jimmy Fallon to Jimmy Kimmel to John Oliver and soon Jon Stewart, he's coming back just for this election year as well, back to The Daily Show, they're utterly predictable. You know the punchline before the joke is even told. Let me tell you what's something that Johnny Carson once said, okay? He said, why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show, you must deal in serious issues? That's a danger. It's a real danger. Once you start to do that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you have to say has great import. And you know, strangely enough, you can use that show as a form to sway people. And I don't think that you should do that as an entertainer. You know how many people watch Johnny Carson's final show on NBC? 55 million people. Colbert, Kimmel, they can barely even get to 2 million at this point because they are predictable, Tommy.
And then when they have a writer's strike, they can't even have a show because they have nothing original to say.
That's a good point.
I want to ask you about this as well, because we talk about a lot how they should leave politics out of things. Now, Jay Leno saying leave politics out of comedy. I think we should leave politics maybe out of sports, maybe out of music and entertainment. But should politics be a part of comedy? Would you like to see and hear that?
Yeah, but I want to see some degree of balance. But that's why Greg Gutfeld and Jimmy Fallon are filling a lane and a void that's out there that really should be filled. And Jay Leno is one of the very best. You know, he's going through a tough thing with his wife right now. I can't even think about how hard it is for what he's having to go through with his wife, and God bless him. And Johnny Carson, because they gave balance, just like Joe said.
I think as we're wrapping this up, you look at some comedians, though, that do go there, and they are uncensored, and they don't care beyond just Gutfeld and Jimmy Fallon. But you look at Dave Chappelle and the success. He refuses to back down to the woke mob, and he's still as popular as ever.
Well, and one of my favorite jokes of his is when he was talking about, like, LGBTQ, transgender, and he said his friend said, he's like, my friend told me that they are after me. And his response was, many theys or singular they, you know, everyone goes by, you know, a plural. But, you know, they don't even try to understand us. They don't even try to understand Republicans. We saw that with Saturday Night Live when they were making fun of Donald Trump using the term debanking. They were completely unaware that it is actually happening where you have financial institutions that are debanking conservatives. That's how unaware they are of what is happening with Republicans. But I actually think if comedians attacked both sides, if we saw this on SNL, if we saw this on late night, if we saw this all around, it would bring the country together because we don't have that many shared activities anymore. We're living in two different countries. So I think it would, if we could laugh together, I do think that would be beneficial.
And to be fair, on SNL, when they do the Donald Trump skits, they're funny. I mean, as a Trump supporter, I can still watch it and I can still laugh at it, and I think it's good. And I think if they maybe brought in the other side, maybe made fun of them, that would be great.
Joe Biden is putting a worker's hat on backwards. You know, like it's like, come on. There's plenty of it's a target-rich environment.
And when it's not Biden, Kamala Harris writes a couple of jokes herself, doesn't
Maybe
she?
they just do it on their own. Maybe that's it. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.